I'm not sure when I stopped living. Maybe it was the day I stopped waiting for someone to ask how I was. Or maybe it was the first morning I watched him walk past the window and didn't breathe until he was gone. I work in a small coffee shop in Portland. There's nothing special about it. Brown walls, an old menu board, the same 5 songs playing every day, but there's a large glass window that faces the street. That window saved me. Or maybe it ruined me. I still don't know. Each day at 7:45, a man walks by. Same coat, same black bag, same fast steps, like the world is always 5 steps ahead of him. He never looks inside, never stops, but I see him every time. The first time I noticed him, I felt something strange in my chest. Not love, not even a crush. It was air. After months of feeling heavy and cold inside, I felt air. He didn't smile, he didn't wave, he didn't even know I was there. But I stood behind the counter with my hand on the coffee pot, frozen, watching him walk away. He became part of my routine. Not because he did anything, but because he was real, solid. Like if I reached out, I could hold on to something that wouldn't leave. You might think this is silly, that I made a story in my head. Maybe I did. But when your days are all the same, your mind needs something to stay alive. Sometimes I asked myself, what if he came in today? I'd imagine him ordering a hot coffee, no cream, and sitting by the window. I'd imagine talking, just talking. But he never came in, not for months, just passed by, until the day he didn't. That was the first time I felt panic in my chest since the day my father left. It came fast, like fire, and it burned everything I built to stay calm. Where did he go? Why do I care so much? What is wrong with me? That morning, I stared at the empty sidewalk, and I knew I had given a stranger the power to make me feel alive. And now, he was gone. He always came at the same time. 7:45. I never needed a clock. His feet were the clock. His steps, strong and sure, moved like they had somewhere to be, someone waiting, but not here, not for me. He wore the same gray coat, always zipped. His left hand held a black laptop bag. His right hand was free, sometimes in his pocket, sometimes holding a coffee cup. But never my coffee. He never looked inside the shop. That hurt more than I wanted to admit. I began to time things around him. I cleaned the counter before 7:30. I fixed my hair at 7:35. I stood by the coffee machine at 7:40. At 7:44, I took a deep breath. At 7:45, I watched. Some mornings it rained. I watched the drops run down the window like tears. But still, he came. Some mornings it snowed. His coat was covered in white, but he never slowed down. Once, he tripped, just a little. He looked down, not around. I hoped he'd look up. I hoped he'd look at me. He didn't. Still, I smiled. It was silly, I know, but it gave me something. My coworker, Beth, saw me watching once. She laughed. "Why don't you just go talk to him?" she asked. I said, "Because I'd rather dream." She didn't understand. That's okay. She had a boyfriend. She had plans. I had a man behind glass. One morning, I wrote a name on a coffee cup. I wrote "Hi" under it. I left it on the counter. He walked by. He didn't see it. But I kept the cup. It's strange how someone can matter so much, even when they don't know you exist, even when they only walk past. But he wasn't just someone. He was the first thing that made me feel again. And that's why it scared me. Because one day, something always changes. The steps don't come. The coat doesn't pass by. And your chest feels cold, like winter inside you. And you start to wonder if you ever meant anything at all. One Monday, he didn't come. I stood by the window, holding a clean cup, but there were no steps, no gray coat, no reason to breathe slow and deep. Maybe he was sick. Maybe he took a day off. It's normal, I told myself. But Tuesday came. Still nothing. I told Beth, he didn't walk by today. She said, "Who?" I didn't answer. By Thursday, I felt something in my chest. It wasn't pain. It was space. Too much of it. Like someone had taken something out of me and left the shape behind. Friday, I waited by the door. At 7:45, I stepped outside for the first time. The street was wet, sky full of clouds. The air smelled like old leaves and cold wind. I stood still, and then I saw him, far down the block, not walking alone. He was with a little girl. She wore a red coat. She held his hand. He looked at her the way I dreamed someone would look at me. He bent down to fix her shoe. She smiled and ran ahead. I froze. My fingers were cold. My face felt warm. I wanted to walk back inside and forget, but I couldn't move. He didn't see me. Or maybe he did and looked away. My heart dropped like a cup from a table. Not broken, just empty. Was that his daughter? Was he married? Why did it matter so much? I didn't know him. He didn't know me. But in my head, we had shared something. Now, it felt like I had taken something that was never mine. I turned back, opened the door, and walked behind the counter. I poured 2 cups of coffee. One for me, one for no one. And I told myself, it's fine. But I didn't believe it. Not then. Not yet. I tried to stop looking for him. I told myself, it was just a small thing. Let it go. But each morning at 7:45, my eyes moved to the window. They moved before I could stop them. It became a habit I didn't ask for. The sidewalk stayed empty. The street felt quieter. I wiped the same spot on the counter over and over. Customers came and went, but I didn't hear them. My hands worked. My face smiled. But my mind was far, walking that same path he once did. I hated it. I hated how I felt so much over someone who never knew my name. I hated that I gave a stranger the power to change my day. And still, I missed him. Beth noticed. "You okay?" she asked. I said, "Just tired." But I wasn't tired. I was sad. And that was worse. That Sunday, I cleaned out the shelf under the counter. Behind the napkin box, I found the cup I had saved, the one with "Hi" written in blue. I looked at it for a long time, then I placed it back. Maybe it was dumb, but I couldn't throw it away. I began to think less about him and more about myself. Why did this hurt? Why did I care? I didn't want to be the girl who cried over a dream. So I stopped checking the window. I made myself look at people who were real, talk to them, smile back. But even when I smiled, something inside felt gray. Not empty, not full, just stuck. He had left nothing behind. Not a name, not a goodbye, not even a look. And yet somehow he took something with him, and I didn't know how to get it back. It was raining hard that morning, the kind of rain that makes the street shine like glass and the sky feel heavy. The wind pushed at the door every time someone walked in. I didn't expect him, not after 2 weeks of nothing. But then he walked in. His coat was soaked. Water ran from his bag. His hair looked darker from the rain. He stood near the door and looked around like he wasn't sure where to go. I stood behind the counter, frozen. He stepped forward, pulled out a small piece of paper, and read it like he needed help finding words. 1 hot coffee, he said, and 1 hot chocolate, please. His voice was soft, slower than I thought. Not low, not high, just real. I nodded. My hands reached for the cups without thinking. I was still trying to believe he was standing right in front of me. He looked at my name tag. Alice, he said, then gave a small smile. I'm Adam. I smiled back, but I didn't speak. My heart was too loud. He glanced at the small table near the window. Can we sit there? I said yes, even though I didn't know who "we" meant. Then he added, It's Lucy's favorite spot. My hand shook a little. Lucy, the little girl. He paid in cash, said thank you, and sat down. I watched him from behind the counter. He pulled out a red book, a child's book. And maybe, before I go on, can I ask, how are you doing today? You've stayed with me through so much already. Please take care of yourself. And if you feel something real in this story, tap like so. I know you're still walking beside me. Adam wasn't just real anymore. He was here. And all I could think was, please, don't disappear again. Not now. He came back the next day. And the next. Always at the same time, but now he came inside. He would order 2 drinks, sit by the window, and pull out that same red book. Sometimes Lucy came with him. Sometimes she didn't. When she was there, she colored. She never made much noise. Just looked up, smiled, and then went back to her page. Her eyes were soft, like his. Quiet eyes. I liked that. He started saying more than just hello. One day, he asked, Do you like to read? I said yes. He said, Lucy's learning now. She likes stories about dogs. I smiled and said, I liked those too. That was all, just little words, but they stayed with me longer than I wanted to admit. One day, he came in alone. Lucy wasn't with him. He looked tired, his eyes darker than usual. He sat down slowly and stared at the table for a long time before speaking. "She's with her grandma today," he said. I nodded. "That's good. She must like that." He didn't smile, just looked down. Then he said, "Her mom died when Lucy was 3. The air around us changed. It got heavy, like the words took something out of him. "I'm sorry," I said. My voice was small. He nodded. "I don't talk about it much. I didn't ask more. I didn't need to. But something inside me broke and healed at the same time." I went back behind the counter and poured another cup of hot chocolate. No charge. Just placed it on the table and said, "One for Lucy, just in case." He looked up. His smile was tired, but real. "And if you're still here with me, maybe you need a moment to care for yourself too. Please pause, breathe deep, and if this story touches you, tap like, so I'll know you're still walking through it with me." He didn't stay long that day, but when he left, he said, "Thanks for remembering her." And I wanted to say, "You're the reason I started to remember myself." He came in with Lucy 2 days later. She ran to the window seat and placed a small paper on the table. It had a drawing on it. 3 people holding hands. One looked like Adam, one looked like Lucy, and the last one had short brown hair and a coffee cup. "She said that one is you," Adam told me. I smiled, but my hands felt strange, warm and cold at once. He sat with his usual drink and watched Lucy color more. I brought them 2 muffins. He tried to pay. I shook my head. "She gave me something," I said. "Let me give her something too." He nodded. As Lucy colored, he looked at me and asked, "Do you sing?" I froze. "How do you know that?" I asked. He smiled. "Your voice. When you say people's names, you say them like you sing them." I looked down. "I used to sing a long time ago." "Why did you stop?" he asked. I didn't want to tell him the truth. That someone once said, "Your voice is not special," and I believed it. So I just said, "I got quiet." He nodded, like he understood. "You should try again," he said. "Even if no one hears, just for you." I didn't answer, but those words stayed with me. They sat beside me the way he did, not loud, not heavy, just there. The next day, he didn't come, and the day after that. By the 3rd day, my chest started to feel tight again. I checked the door every 5 minutes. I told myself, maybe they're busy, maybe they're okay. But deep inside, I felt that something had changed again. I waited 1 more day. He still didn't come. And this time, it hurt deeper, because now I knew his name. I knew his child, and I knew what it felt like to lose someone twice. Sunday came fast. I told myself it was just a small thing, just one song, just one night. But my hands shook when I turned on the lights. I fixed the chairs, cleaned the counter, and looked at the door more times than I could count. People came in, a few regulars, a couple on a date, 2 girls from school. They sat, waited, smiled at me. I smiled back, but my heart wasn't calm. At 6 o'clock, I stood in front of them with my old guitar. I had not touched it in years. I looked down, took a breath, and began. My voice was quiet at first, but it didn't break. It grew. Not big, just strong enough to reach the back wall. I didn't look at the door. I didn't let myself hope. I sang the song I had hummed that night in the dark. The same one from when I was small, the one my mom used to sing while washing dishes. And halfway through, something told me to look up. He was there, Adam, standing by the door, holding Lucy's hand. She waved. I almost stopped singing, but I didn't. I kept going, even as my eyes burned. When the song ended, people clapped. A soft clap, warm and small. I smiled and thanked them. Adam and Lucy came to the counter. He didn't say much, just looked at me like I was someone new. "You sang," he said. "I did," I said. Lucy held up a small paper. It had a new drawing. This time, the person with the coffee cup had a guitar. I laughed. My hands were still shaking. "I didn't think you'd come," I said. Adam smiled. "I didn't want to come. I had to." And for the first time in a long time, I felt seen. Not watched, not looked at, but seen for who I was and who I could still become. The next morning, he came in early. Before the shop opened, I saw him standing at the door, holding 2 small cups, one for him, one for Lucy. I unlocked the door. "I brought coffee this time," he said. I smiled. "Then come in." We sat by the window, where he always used to pass by. He looked at the chair, then at me, and said, "This seat always looked cold from the outside. It's warm here." I didn't say much, just listened. Lucy ran to the back corner with her paper and crayons. She knew the space like it was part of her home. Adam turned toward me, his voice softer now. "I left last time because I was scared," he said. "Scared that this was more than I could handle." I nodded. I understood that kind of fear. He looked down at his hands. "When my wife died, I forgot how to share anything, even small things, like a song, or a morning cup, or a seat by the window. I didn't try to fix it. I didn't say it was okay. I just let the quiet sit between us." Then he said something I didn't expect. Lucy asked why we stopped coming. She said this place made you smile. I looked up. "She watches you," he said, "even more than I do." I didn't know what to say. My hands felt warm. Lucy walked back over and gave me a paper flower. "For your singing," she said. I almost cried. Adam smiled. "We'd like to come more, if that's okay." I nodded. It's more than okay. For a long time, I didn't know what it meant to let someone in. Not fully, not past the door, past the small talk. But now, here we were. A man who once passed by, a child with soft hands, a woman who stopped singing and started again. And something told me this wasn't the end of the story. It was the start of a new one. Since that day, they came often. Not every morning, not always at the same time, but enough. Lucy would bring her drawings. Adam would bring a book. Sometimes they stayed 10 minutes, sometimes an hour. They always sat at the same table, by the window. I started to keep a small box of crayons behind the counter, just for her. One day, Adam asked, "Do you still sing?" I nodded. "Sometimes, when the shop is quiet." He smiled. "You should sing more." I didn't ask why. I just said, "I will." One evening, near closing, Lucy came up to the counter. She handed me another drawing. It had a big window. Behind it, 3 people stood. A man, a child, and a woman holding a cup. She said, "This is us." I kept that one. I taped it beside the register. So every day I would see it. A reminder that small things are never really small. Some days it still rains. Some days I still feel quiet inside. But now I know how to sing through it. Not loud, not perfect, just real. Adam never said big things. He didn't need to. His being there said enough. One morning, he brought a small gift, a silver pin shaped like a music note. "It's not much," he said, "but when I saw it, I thought of you. I wore it on my apron that day. Still do. And if you're still listening, maybe this is what you needed to hear. You don't have to wait for someone to change your life. Sometimes, life begins again when you let yourself be seen. When you speak, some things begin not with loud steps, but with quiet moments. A person passing by, a voice heard once, a child's drawing left on a table. This story is not about big days. It's about the soft ones, the days that seem small, but stay with you. The days when someone looks at you, not because they have to, but because they want to. Alice did not change because someone told her to. She changed because she let one small thing grow. A hello, a song, a chair by the window. Adam did not fix her, and she did not fix him. But when people choose to sit with each other in silence, something starts to heal. Lucy did not say much, but her drawing spoke enough. Sometimes we don't need more words. We need time. We need space. And we need someone who does not leave when the song ends. This story reminds us that not all good things come fast. Some come slow. Some pass by first, then come back through the door. And when they do, we learn that being seen, truly seen, is not about doing more. It's about being real and being ready to stay. Have you ever watched someone walk past and felt something shift inside you? Not love, not need, just something that told you, "I miss being seen." Maybe you've had days like Alice, where you smile for others but feel quiet inside. Maybe you've held on to a song, a drawing, or a small moment that kept you from falling apart. We all carry parts of ourselves we hide, the soft parts, the tired ones. But what if someone saw that part of you and didn't walk away? You don't have to be loud to matter. You don't have to be strong all the time to be loved. If this story stayed with you, even just a little, maybe someone else needs it too. Share this video with someone who feels quiet lately, someone who needs a small break, a warm cup, a gentle story to breathe with. They may not say it out loud, but they'll feel it, and they'll be thankful you thought of them. Because sometimes we don't need advice. We just need someone to sit beside us in the quiet and say, I see you, when you sing, even if your voice shakes. So take one small step, one soft word, one warm cup, and maybe, just maybe, that's how everything starts to change. If you liked the story, comment number 7. If you think the story could be better, comment number 8. We are always here, working hard to bring you the best stories. Thank you for watching, our dear friends. Your support means everything to us. See you in the next story.